Okay, we're on to section 4 of chapter 3, Drawers, Chests, and Wardrobes. By way of preamble to our positive study of images of secrecy, we begin by examining a hastily formulated metaphor that does not really unite exterior realities with intimate reality. Then, in this passage from Bosco's book, we succeeded in getting a direct characterological hold based on a clearly outlined reality. Now we must return to our studies of the imagination, all of them positive. With the theme of drawers, chests, locks, and wardrobes, we shall resume contact with the unfathomable store of daydreams of intimacy. Wardrobes with their shelves, desks with their drawers, and chests with their false bottoms are veritable organs of the secret psychological life. Indeed, without these objects, and a few others in equally high favor, our intimate life would lack a model of intimacy. They are hybrid objects, subject objects. Like us, through us, and for us, they have a quality of intimacy. Does there exist a single dreamer of words who does not respond to the word wardrobe? And to fine words correspond fine things. To grave-sounding words, an entity of depth. Every poet of furniture, even if he be a poet in a garret, and therefore has no furniture, knows that the inner space of an old wardrobe is deep. A wardrobe's inner space is also intimate space, space that is not open to just anybody. But words carry with them obligations. Only an indigent soul would put just anything in a wardrobe. To put just anything, just any way, in just any piece of furniture is the mark of unusual weakness in the function of inhabiting. Unusual weakness. In the wardrobe there exists a center of order that protects the entire house against uncurbed disorder. Here order reigns, or rather, there is the reign of order. Order is not merely geometrical, it can also remember the family history. A poet knew this. Orderliness, harmony, piles of sheets in the wardrobe, lavender in the linen. With the presence of lavender, the history of the seasons enters into the wardrobe. Indeed, lavender alone introduces a Bergsonian durée into the hierarchy of the sheets. The hierarchy of the sheets. Should we not wait before using them for them to be, as they say in France, sufficiently lavendered? What dreams are reserved for us if we can recall, if we can return to the land of tranquility? Memories come crowding when we look back upon the shelf on which the lace-trimmed batiste and muslin pieces lay on top of the heavier materials. A wardrobe, writes Millos, is filled with the mute tumult of memories. Bergson did not want the faculty of memory to be taken for a wardrobe of recollections, but images are more demanding than ideas. And the most Bergsonian of his disciples, being a poet, recognized that memory is a wardrobe. The following great line was written by Charles Piguy, I don't know. On the shelves of memory and in the temples of the wardrobe. But the real wardrobe is not an everyday piece of furniture. It is not opened every day, and so, like a heart that confides in no one, the key is not on the door. An excerpt. The wardrobe had no keys. No keys had the big wardrobe. Often we used to look at its brown and black door. No keys! It was strange. Many a time we dreamed of the mysteries lying dormant between its wooden flanks, and we thought we heard, deep in the gaping lock, a distant sound, a vague, joyful murmur. Here Rimbaud designates a perspective of hope. What good things are being kept in reserve in the locked wardrobe? This time it is filled with promise. It is something more than a family chronicle. André Breton, with a single word, shows us the marvels of unreality by adding a blessed impossibility to the riddle of the wardrobe. In Revolver Archat Blancs, page 110, he writes with typical surrealistic imperturbability. The wardrobe is filled with linen. There are even moonbeams which I can unfold. This carries the image to a point of exaggeration that no reasonable mind would care to attain. But exaggeration is always at the summit of any living image. And to add fantasy, linen is to draw a picture by means of a volute of words, of all the superabundant blessings that lie folded in piles between the flanks of an abandoned wardrobe. In the dead linen in cupboards, I seek the supernatural. Another poet writes, Joseph Ruffinge. How big, how enveloping is an old sheet when we unfold it, and how white the old tablecloth was, white as the moon on the wintry meadow. If we dream a bit, Breton's image seems perfectly natural. There are even moonbeams which I can unfold. Nor should we be surprised by the fact that an entity which possesses such great wealth of intimacy should be so affectionately cared for by housewives. Anne de Tourville says of a poor woodcutter's wife, she had started rubbing, and the high lights that played on the wardrobe cheered the heart. An armoire radiates a very soft light in the room, a communicative light. It is understandable, therefore, that a poet watching the October light play over the wardrobe should write, the reflection on the old wardrobe, cast by the live coals of an October twilight. If we give objects the friendship they should have, we do not open a wardrobe without a slight start. Beneath its russet wood, a wardrobe is a very white almond. To open it is to experience an event of whiteness. What a mysterious line. What is an event of whiteness? Or what is he trying to say there? We could say something blank, perhaps, but testing it. An anthology devoted to small boxes, such as chests and caskets, would constitute an important chapter in psychology. I agree. These complex pieces that a craftsman creates are very evident witnesses of the need for secrecy, of an intuitive sense of hiding places. It is not merely a matter of keeping a possession well guarded. The lock doesn't exist that could resist absolute violence, and all locks are an invitation to thieves. A lock is a psychological threshold, and how it defies indiscretion when it is covered with ornaments. What complexes are attached to an ornamented lock? Denise Palme writes that among the Bambaras, the center of the lock is sculptured in the form of a crocodile or a lizard or a turtle. The power that opens and shuts must possess the power of life, human power, or the power of a sacred animal. Quote, And among the Dogons in the Sudan, locks are decorated with two human figures representing the first man and the first woman. Locksit, page 35. But rather than challenge the trespasser, rather than frighten him by signs of power, it is preferable to mislead him. This is where boxes that fit into one another come in. The least important secrets are put in the first box, the idea being that they will suffice to satisfy his curiosity, which can also be fed on false secrets. In other words, there exists a type of cabinet work that is complexualistic. For many people, the fact that there should exist a homology between the geometry of the small box and the psychology of secrecy does not call for protracted comment. However, I didn't mean to yell, sorry. However, novelists occasionally make note of this homology in a few lines. One of Franz Helens's characters, wishing to make his daughter a present, hesitates between a silk scarf and a small Japanese lacquer box. He chooses the box because it seems to be better suited to her reserved nature. A simple, rapid notation of this kind may well escape the attention of the hurried reader. And yet it is at the very core of a strange tale in which father and daughter hide the same mystery. This same mystery is heading towards the same fate, and the author applies all his talents to making us feel this identity of intimate spirits. Indeed, there is a book that should be added to a dossier on the pent-up soul, with the box for emblem. I'm going to say it again. Indeed, this is a book that should be added to a dossier on the pent-up soul, with the box for emblem. For it shows us that the psychology of reserved persons is not depicted by listing their negative attitudes, cataloging their detachments, or recounting their moments of silence. Watch them, rather, in the moment of positive joy that accompanies the opening of a new box. Like this young girl who receives implicit permission from her father to hide her secrets, that is to say, to conceal her mystery. In this story by Franz Helens, two human beings understand each other without a word, without knowing it, in fact. Two pent-up human beings communicate by means of the same symbol. I think we all do that. I think it's really sad how much we think we are different from each other. How many boxes do I have in this room that are fake secrets and real secrets? It's more than you may think.